So last end of September, I went to Algonquin Park again, the second time. I was with my friend Peter, who's from the United Methodist Church. No, United Church, not United Methodist. Okay, United Church. So we went there, and one of the highlights of our trip was going to see the Petawawa River. So the Petawawa River, it ends going to Cedar Lake, which is in Algonquin Park. And the Petawawa River, it goes there, and then you see there's like a waterfalls and rushing water. So I went there, and because there's that adventure spirit in me, I told Peter, I want to go to under that falls. And it was like so strong. So when I was like going there, twice he said, on the video, he said, I just want to let people know I don't agree with this, okay? Twice. But I was like under the water, and it was so refreshing. It was so nice. Of course, I made sure that it was safe, that I could stand on something, because or else if I get unstable, I could be carried over by the water. And I don't know where I will end up. So, and it reminded me of today's Mass. Mary is the fountain of living water. And sometimes we know the living water is the Holy Spirit. But sometimes we sometimes think the living water is just the water that we see from the creek. It's the Holy Spirit, the living water, the Lord wants to pour to each and every one of us like a torrent, gushing. Okay? And it's up to us if we want to receive it. Okay? It's up to us. Like in that Algonquin Park, I could have decided, okay, I'm gonna be play safe. I'm gonna go under the falls, but I'm gonna wear a raincoat and an umbrella. I could do that. I have the freedom to do that. But will I be able to enjoy that waterfalls? No, right? So the Lord is going to is providing the Holy Spirit to us. And in our first reading today, it's so beautiful. It says, "Then in my vision, the angel showed me the river of the water of life, bright as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb." Of course, God is the source of this living water. Mary is just the fountain where it comes forth. Okay? And what happened there is that on either side of the river is the tree of life with its 12 kinds of fruit, producing its fruit each month. And the leaves of the tree are for the healing of the nation. Without this living water, you won't have this tree of life. Because it's the water that gives life to that tree. And that tree, because it's alive, it produces fruit, and the leaves being used for healing. Without this living water flowing, we're going to be like the Dead Sea. You know, how many of you have been to the Dead Sea? Okay. Right? No fresh water going in. So it's so salty that you can't swim. You float. But there's nothing alive. No fish, no plants, no trees. It's dead. Because there's no living water going in. And that's for us. Okay? Because we are supposed to be this tree of life. Are we producing the fruit? The fruit of the Holy Spirit. Are people seeing the fruit of the Holy Spirit in us? Are we an instrument of healing to others? An instrument of love, joy, peace? Are we that? Are we the tree of life? If we are not, we have to examine ourselves. Are we open to the living water that the Lord wants to give to us? We need to open up our hearts, our minds, our soul. We need to remove any obstacle so that we will be able to receive the Holy Spirit in us, the living water. It reminds me of, when you see pouring rain and you have 3 containers. One is a small, a wine bottle, okay? The other one is a glass, and the other one is a basin. 3 different containers, 3 different sizes of opening. The wine bottle has the smallest opening. The glass, medium size opening. The basin is the biggest. It's up to us. The Lord is pouring that living water every day. If we're not receiving it, it's not His problem. It's our problem. We're not opening up. We need to open up. Let's ask the Lord, Lord, what is blocking for me to receive the Holy Spirit? And this Advent is a time to do that. It's a time to reflect. Are we receiving the living water in our life? Are we a tree of life? Or do people see the fruit of the Holy Spirit in our lives? Are we an instrument of peace, joy, love, healing to other people? Or are we the opposite? Are we an instrument of division, hatred, resentment, anger, envy? We have to ask ourselves that. So, later on, I would like to share you how could we prepare ourselves, especially this Advent. Okay, I'll share that to you later on. Okay, so let's examine ourselves. Because during this time of pandemic, grab this opportunity to examine our souls. We have the time. Examine. Let's examine. Because if we don't examine, you don't know what you're missing. And if you don't know what you're missing, you're not going to ask for what you're missing. The Lord wants to pour out upon us this living water that will give life, joy, peace to each and every one of us. It's up to us. He can't force it on us. It's up to us if we want to receive it or not.